What if Palpatine used the Predator instead of Order 66? Let's explore the depths of it in the video.
The jungle remembers. Even now, decades later, when the stars are silent and the galaxy bows low, I can still smell the iron in the air. Not just mine, ours. The soil drank deep that night. My blood red and streaming. His blood bright green, almost luminous against the dark earth. Side by side it soaked into the roots, binding us. I was the last. A dozen of us came to that cursed world with lights in our eyes, dreams in our pockets, blasters and blades at our sides. We thought ourselves explorers, pioneers. We were prey. One by one he took them, silent, unstoppable, until it was only me, barefoot in the mud, cradling a shattered arm, a broken vibroblade in my grip. No tricks, no escape, only blood and breath and death. The battle was not clean. It was not noble. It was desperate. When I stood victorious, if such a word can even be used, my hand shook so badly I could barely hold the blade. The creature's blood glistened like spilled emeralds across the earth. My own dripped freely, mingling with his, pooling at my feet. In that moment, we were equals. Warriors brought low by the simple, brutal truth of survival. That's when they came, shapes in the mist. At first I thought the jungle had finally swallowed me whole, that death had come in some new form. But they were real, tall, armored, silent. They did not strike, they watched. One stepped forward, his helmet crowned by the claw of some great bird, his armor scratched by countless battles. He lifted the fallen warrior's spear, still slick with my blood, and laid it at my feet. A gift, a mark, an invitation. I understood even then that I had not merely survived. I had proven myself. And as I took the weapon, the hunters bowed, not in submission, but in respect, in brotherhood. One day, I promised them silently, I would call upon them again. Not for vengeance, not for conquest, for the hunt, the ultimate hunt. And that day is today.
The doors part with a soft hiss. Stillness greets them. The Chancellor's office lies untouched, silent, pristine. Yet something in the air feels wrong, as if the room itself is holding its breath. The heavy tapestries hang motionless. The polished floor gleams under the dying light of Coruscant's setting sun as the stars take over. 1,000 small reflections shimmer like fading ghosts. Mace Windu steps inside first, each footfall a whisper against the marble. Behind him, Kit Fisto, Ajen Kular, CC Teen. Silent sentinels, weapons at the ready, but unlit. The office seems frozen in time. At the far end, the Chancellor's console hums faintly. Above it, a holomap flickers. A scatter of stars adrift in deep blue. Among them, one system pulses red, a heartbeat. a lure. No words are spoken, just concerned glances and worried glares. The Sith Lord is gone, but he has left his trail deliberately, like a bloodied claw across the stars. Mace Windu approaches the console, his silhouette carved against the starlight. He studies the map, his lips pursed tightly with grim certainty. Kit Fisto casts him a glance. The question is silent. Mace answers with a nod. Sharp. Final. Skywalker was right. The truth hangs between them, heavy as a noose. Outside, the skyline burns in hues of green and crimson, a pulsing heartbeat stretched across the horizon. The hunt has begun.
They will follow. They must follow. Hope is a leash, and I will lead them to the gallows with it.
Beyond the rim of known space, a single vessel carves its way through the endless dark. It is no warship, no grand cruiser bearing the banners of the Republic. It is small, sleek, obsidian in color, a blade of shadow slipping between stars, silent as a whisper, deadly as a dagger. Within its hold, behind sealed durasteel walls, the soon-to-be Emperor waits. Not yet crowned, not yet revealed, but certain of what must come. Palpatine stands alone in the shuttle's darkened cabin, the starlight of hyperspace painting his face in fleeting streaks of blue and white. Before him, a vault rises from the floor like a tombstone. He raises one hand, gnarled fingers dancing across the security panel with an old code. The vault hisses, decades-old dusty seals breaking with a shudder that seems to echo into eternity. Inside, relics of promise made long ago. The spear gleams first, its half wrapped in dark iron, its blade still bearing the faint stains of old blood. His and another's. It hums with a life of its own, a weapon forged not by science or sorcery, but survival and blood oath. Beside it, armor awaits. Not Sith robes, not senatorial silk. This armor is brutal in design, etched with jagged lines, darkened by age, marked with claw and fang, a fusion of ancient Mandalorian steel and Yautja craftsmanship, shaped not for ceremony, but for the hunt. Slowly, reverently, Palpatine removes his Chancellor's cloak and robes, letting them fall in a soft heap at his feet. He dons the armor piece by piece, each plate heavy with memory. The breastplate scarred and battle-worn, the gauntlets rigid with talon marks, the mask, a bone-white visage carved from the skull of some long-dead monster, rests still in the shadows, waiting. But he does not lift the mask, not yet. Instead, he takes the spear in both hands, feeling its weight settle into his bones like an old friend. The ship hums around him, like a living thing carrying him in its belly toward destiny. He speaks, low and sure, not to any crew, there are none, but to the dark itself.
Across the stars, the blood of the Jedi will fall like rain. The galaxy will remember the night the hunters answered my call.
The spear's blade catches the shifting light, throwing a sharp gleam across the darkened cabin. In the distance, beyond the veil of hyperspace, the jungle world waits, hungering, and in its shadows, the hunters gather. Across Coruscant, the call goes out. In the shadowed halls and war rooms, sabers are donned, armor fitted, final messages left unsent. The chosen few gather, Mace Windu at the center, his presence like a blade drawn in silence. Kit Fisto, Ajen Kalar, CC Teen, warriors of renown, each summoned with a wordless understanding that this is nothing more than a trap. when the scans of the target world would reveal endless jungle, thick as a storm cloud and twice as deadly, the request is made. Find Quinlan Voss. He answers without hesitation, emerging from the lower levels of the temple, his presence half wild, half shadow, a man born for forgotten places. Their ship stands ready, sleek, unmarked, a ghost among fleets, a ship for stealth and infiltration. This will not be a mission of diplomacy. Elsewhere in a chamber far removed, Anakin Skywalker watches them depart, excluded once again, the bitterness sharp behind his teeth, a jilted witness to the decisions of cautious men. Above them all, Coruscant's skies twinkle as night tightens its grip. Across the void, death waits in green shadows.
Beneath the surface of the jungle world, in a cavern swallowed by roots and stone, we gather. Predators baring our teeth before the hunt. There are no heroes in the jungle, only hunters and meat.
No words are spoken, only silent understanding. The tomb is ancient, its walls lost to time, the air thick with the smell of wet earth and forgotten bones. Faint light from unseen fires cast long shadows, warping the figures that stand in the circle. 3 hunters, 3 legends for the shadows of the galaxy's darkest corners. Palpatine stands among them, spear in hand, armored in iron and oath. He studies them, one by one, the corners of his mouth curling into something colder than a smile. The first is a giant even among his kind, his frame crowned with the jagged skulls and tusks of past prey, strung across his armor like trophies. A butcher of beasts. Palpatine raises an eyebrow as he thinks to himself.
You,
the words flowing like silk through his mind.
You shall be Tusk, for you wear your victories where lesser creatures wear fear.
The second stands cloaked in ash and ruin, his body half consumed by the kiss of fire, burn scars stitched into his flesh and metal plates bolted to his bones. A revenant tempered into a warrior.
Scorch, born of flame, baptized in agony. Your name will be written in smoke and blood.
The third is sleek and predatory, his helm fashioned not from iron, but of the claw of some great winged beast, its talons reaching back over his crown like a mantle. A hunter who soars above death.
Talon, swift as a storm, sharp as the sky's own blade.
The 3 bow slightly, not in submission, but in grim understanding. The pact is made. Palpatine grips his spear tighter. The hunt is no longer beginning. It is already underway. He says nothing. They need no words, only blood. One by one they don their masks, each one a grim reminder of the hunters they are. Palpatine follows suit, the bone-white mask a heavy contrast to the dark armor, the face of a phantom, menacing. Above them, the jungle trembles, sensing the first ripples of a storm it cannot name. A dropship cuts through the clouds like a blade through silk. Turbulence rocks the vessel, a dull vibration that hums through the deck plates and settles into the bones of every man aboard. The world below is a sea of green, endless jungle, tangled and restless, shrouded in a storm racked by mist. Inside the hold, the Jedi stand ready. Mace Windu at the fore, eyes narrowed. Kit Fisto, Ajen Kalar, CC-Teen, silent pillars of resolve. Quinlan Voss crouches low, fingers tracing the subtle rhythms of the ship's tremors, reading omens in every vibration. With them, a small strike team of clone troopers, elite, hand-picked for speed and stealth. Their armor is marked in muted tones, greens and blacks, designed for unseen wars. Helmets on, blasters checked, no words spoken. The ship jolts again, something unseen brushing its shields, and the pilot's voice crackles through the comms.
Entering LZ now. No welcoming party. Just static.
Above them, the clouds churn like a living thing. Below, the jungle waits, breathing, watching. The drop ship skims low, fighting unseen winds, and touches down in a clearing barely wide enough to hold it. Vines creep at the edges. Trees lean inward, as if the jungle itself seeks to devour the machine. The ramp hisses open. Heat assaults them first. Thick, wet, choking. The stench of rotting leaves and living things fills the air. The Jedi step down in formation. Clones fan out, forming a perimeter, visors scanning every shadow. Nothing moves. No birds, no insects. Only the faint crackle of static on their comms, and the low growl of distant thunder through the raging trees and churning clouds. Voss kneels at the tree line, pressing a hand to the ground. His brow furrows.
Something's wrong.
Mace Windu steps forward, his voice low, meant only for the closest.
Keep moving.
The mission is clear. The trap is obvious, and yet they go forward. Above them, hidden by canopy and shadow, masked eyes watch, counting, measuring. The hunt is patient. The hunt is precise. The jungle presses in from all sides. Even with the ship's engines still warm, the clearing area already feels like a grave. The vines seem bolder now. The mist clings tighter. Vosh crouches again at the tree line, one gloved hand brushing the damp soil. His senses spread out into the green like tendrils, tasting fear, smelling blood not yet spilled. His brow furrows deeper. There are choices ahead. Buried deep in the jungle, he senses the faint echoes of ancient structures, stone and bone tangled together, half swallowed by vines, and something else. Old technology humming low beneath the canopy, distant but pulsing. He rises, facing Mace Windu.
There's more than one point of interest. Spread too far for one team.
Above them, thunder rolls, heavy and wet. The static on the comms crackled again, louder, drowning out half the clone captain's next report. Mace exchanges a glance with Kit Fisto, with CC-10. The decision is swift, surgical. A perimeter team will stay with the ship, 5 clones and CC-10, guarding their only exit. The rest will split into 2 scouting groups. Mace Windu, Kit Fisto, and a small detachment of clones will move toward the strongest energy signature. Quinlan Voss, Ajen Kalara, and the remaining clones will investigate the crumbling ruins sensed to the north. Voss doesn't like it. None of them do. But the storm is climbing now, stacking layers of static across the comms, washing out their sensors. If they wait, they'll lose the trail. If they linger, the storm will pin them here.
We move. Now.
They part ways in silence, boots sinking into the mud and moss, the jungle swallowing them whole.
Divide them. Scatter them like leaves before the storm. In isolation, even the mighty wither.
The trees close in fast. Voss's group moves in tight formation. Every clone a ghost among the ferns. Helmets scanning, fingers twitching on triggers. The ruins are not far now. Gnarled towers swallowed by vines. Stone statues crumbling into hollow eyes and reaching claws. Something ancient lives here still, breathing beneath the rocks. Voss slows, one hand rising in warning. The clones freeze. A low hum stirs in the air, barely audible, a ripple in the mist. And then, a flash of movement, the wet crack of bone breaking, a body gone. One clone simply vanishes, yanked upward into the canopy without a sound. Shots erupt, blasters snap to life, bolts searing the mist. Voss ignites his saber, eyes darting, tracking shadows that flicker faster than thought. Another clone spins, firing wildly. A net of barbed wire wraps his body mid-shot, yanking him sideways into the underbrush, thrashing once, then silence. Panic ripples through the line. Voss growls low under his breath, mind racing.
Stay together! Eyes high! Eyes high!
But it's too late. Above them, clinging to the thick branches like living wraiths, the hunters descend. The first true glimpse. Talon drops from the canopy like a living spear, impaling a clone through the chest with a wrist blade before dragging him into the shadows. Tusk follows an instant later, shoulder slamming another trooper into a crumbling stone wall with bone-breaking force. The jungle devours the light, the noise, the discipline. Only the sounds of breath, blood, and dying remain. Voss plants his boots in the mud, saber raised, heart pounding. The jungle stirs with distant thunder. From deep within the mist, faint and broken by static, the clones at the perimeter hear it. Blaster fire, short, sharp bursts, the crackle of lightsabers, the screams of men cut short. CC-Teen stiffens atop the ramp of the dropship, his head-tails twitching in contemplation. He turns, eyes narrow toward the direction of the sounds, barely audible over the rising howl of the storm.
That's Voss's team.
One clone mutters, voice tight inside his helmet. The others shift uneasily. Weapons rise a little higher. Fingers tighten on triggers. Teen says nothing at first. The pull of duty, help them, clashes with the cold logic of command. He forces the words out, grim and sharp.
Hold position.
A blade pierces the chest of a Gen Kolar. Words barely escaping his lips as he stares to Quinlan Voss.
Run!
The clones back at the ship hesitate, but obey. Training wins over instinct. The jungle seems to lean closer, as if sensing their paralysis. The mist thickens, curling beneath the trees like the breath of something slumbering. Inside the ship, the pilot works feverishly at the console, trying to cut through the static blanket washing over their sensors. Nothing but ghosts. Teen glances back once, toward the tree line, where the green wall hides the world beyond. He feels it now. A pressure building. Not just in the Force, but in the very bones of the Earth. They are being watched, measured. The distant blaster fire halts, then falls silent. A deep hush falls over the clearing, heavier than before. The clones shift again, uneasy. Teen tightens his grip on his lightsaber hilt, but keeps it unlit. Every instinct screams to move, to run, to fight, but he holds the line. Within the ship, the pilot pauses for a moment. On the windshield, his attention is stolen by 3 red dots. He looks down at his chest as panic settles.
Oh, hell.
A single bolt of molten plasma tears through the ship's cockpit, blooming outward in a flash of blue-white fire. The explosion throws CC-Teen from the ramp. Clones dive for cover, shouting warnings, blasters snapping up in wild arcs. The jungle itself seems to erupt, trees shattering, roots burning, and from the smoke, strides scorch. A walking engine of war, his half-melted armor glowing under the firelight, his weapons spitting death in every direction. The clearing becomes a killing field. The clones fall in bursts of blood and smoke. One tries to reach the ship, only to be pinned to its broken hull by a crackling bolt through the spine. Teen rises from the mud, saber igniting in a flash of green, teeth bared in a snarl. The boom rolls across the jungle like a physical blow, rattling the canopy and shaking loose a rain of streaming leaves. Mace Windu freezes mid-step, head snapping toward the sound. Through the gaps in the trees, the sky bleeds black, a column of smoke, oily and thick, clawing its way into the heavens where the ship once stood. Kit Fisto moves first, stepping closer to Mace, voice taut.
That was the ship. We have to go back.
The jungle thickens. Mist coils low around their boots, muffling their steps, dulling their senses. Something is very wrong. Mace feels it, not a presence, but the deliberate absence of one. A void, circling them, unseen. Kit breaks the silence in a low murmur.
We should double back. Regroup.
Mace doesn't answer at first. His instincts scream against the notion of retreat. The comms crackle, static, and ghost voices, then die again. More explosions by the ship, blasters to the north. From the trees above them, unseen eyes watch. No words, no breath, only the slow measured pulse of the hunt. The clones fan wider, searching for threats among the trees. One pauses to scan a vine-wrapped trunk, and his head snaps sideways, a single crimson line blossoming across his throat. No blaster fire, no shout, just death. The jungle swallows the body. The other clones react too late, spinning, shouting warnings, blasters rising. Another clone is lifted from the ground, throat crushed by unseen hands. Blaster clattering into the mud. Kit Fisto turns, blade igniting with a sharp hiss, a second too slow. Out of the mist, like a phantom, Palpatine emerges, no longer cloaked in velvet and lies. He stands tall, armored in dark iron and bone, the Predator's spear gripped low in one hand, gleaming with death. Before Kit can cry out, the spear flashes, a silver blur. Kit Fisto is run clean through. The Jedi's body jerks once, his head tails shuddering. Then he falls limp. The jungle accepts him without a sound. Only now does Palpatine speak, voice cold and sabering.
Will the Jedi run?
Mace ignites his saber in a roar of violet, lunging toward him. But Palpatine is already moving, fading back into the mist, fast and fluid as a serpent. The last clone charges to protect Mace. A mistake. Palpatine's spear lashes out in a brutal arc, breaking bone, crumpling the clone into the mud without even slowing. Mace moves to pursue, but Palpatine retreats deliberately, letting him follow, letting the rage and fear sharpen. He is not fleeing. He is luring. Through tangled vines, past broken statues, weeping moss. Towards a pulse Mace can feel more than hear now, a thrum of ancient energy, deeper than the earth. The temple, the trap. Mace Windu follows, teeth gritted, saber casting long shadows through the mist. Above him, the jungle holds its breath. Ahead, death smiles. The ship is nothing now but twisted metal and roaring flame. The clearing where it once stood is a crater of scorched mud and molten wreckage. The jungle itself burned back in a wide, blackened circle, and at the center of it, rising to his feet, is CC-10. His green lightsaber hums in his hand, casting flickering shadows across his battered armor. Smoke clings to him like a living thing. Blood, his own, spatters his side where the first hit tore through his defenses. Before him, advancing slowly through the smoke, is Scorch. Half his body a fused armored wreck, the other half gleaming with brutal upgrades scavenged from a dozen wars. The Predator's plasma cannon sizzles with heat, locking onto Teen's heart. Teen tightens his grip on the saber. Scorch fires. A bolt of searing plasma rips towards Teen. He moves, sidestepping just fast enough, the shot grazing his pauldron and sending sparks cascading into the mud. Teen launches forward, saber swinging low, trying to close the distance. Scorch adapts, quicker than expected for something so heavy. He ducks, slams a heavy shoulder into Teen's chest, sending the Jedi sprawling backward into the mud. Another blast erupts from Scorch's cannon. Teen rolls, mud flying, saber flashing up to deflect a second shot harmlessly into the burning wreckage. He rises, battered but unbroken, and charges. This time he reaches Scorch. Their clash is brutal, Teen carving deep gouges into Scorch's armor, the Predator countering with savage strikes of his gauntlets and shoulder plates. The fight is not elegant. It is survival. It is rage and fire and exhaustion. Teen drives his saber deep into Scorch's side. The Predator snarls, backhanding him with a force that shatters bone. Teen stumbles, vision doubling. Scorch steps back, recalibrating, the plasma cannon whining up to full power. Teen lifts his saber again, blood leaking from his mouth, legs trembling, but it is not enough. Scorch fires point blank. The blast catches CC-10 square in the chest, lifting him off his feet and hurling him across the clearing. He crashes into the smoking remains of the ship, body limp, saber falling from lifeless fingers. For a moment, the only sound is the crackle of burning metal and the low, whirling click of Scorch's weapon resetting. His blood drips to a glowing puddle at his feet as he picks up a red-hot shard of the ship's hull and burns the wound closed. The jungle falls silent again, save for the low, satisfied rumble of Scorch's breathing apparatus as he picks up Teen's lightsaber. Another scar earned, another Jedi fallen. The ruins bleed mist and memory. Quinlan Voss crouches in the shadow of a shattered pillar, blood trailing down his face, his muscles aching with every shallow breath. He closes his eyes, and the Force shows him the truth. The jungle falls away. The ruin, the storm, the burning wreckage, all gone. Only the echoes remain. He feels them ripple through him. Kit Fisto, vibrant and laughing in life, now extinguished in a flash of silver pain, his final breath shallowed by the mist. CC-10 defiant even as the plasma burned through his chest, his last stand buried under fire and ash. And Ajen Kalar, silent, desperate, overwhelmed, cut down before a scream could even leave his throat. He left him behind. Each life is a scar against the Force, each death a weight around Voss's soul. He grits his teeth against it, breathing hard, willing himself not to drown. But he feels it, the truth sinking into his bones. They are dead. He is alone. He must find Mace. A tremor runs through the ruined stones, sharp and sudden. Voss's eyes snap open. From the mist ahead, Tusk charges, a titan of bone and muscle, his armor stitched with the trophies of 100 kills. Wrist blades gleam in the stormlight, dripping rain and blood. There is no time to grieve, no time to pray, only time to fight. Voss rises in a low stance, saber igniting with a hiss, its glow throwing wild shadows across the crumbling stones. Tusk barrels into him, the first blow a hammering overhead slash meant to cleave him in two. Voss sidesteps by inches, the blade carving deep into the stone behind him. He counters with a vicious slash across Tusk's ribs. Sparks fly, green blood hisses onto the stone, but the predator shrugs it off, spinning and slamming a bone-plated fist into Voss's gut. The Jedi staggers back, gasping, saber barely staying up in defense. Tusk follows, relentless. The fight is brutal, ugly, no elegance, no clean forms. Mud slicks their feet, blood darkens their wrists. Voss fights on instinct now, raw and desperate, every moment fueled by pain and the knowledge that there is no rescue coming. He dodges another killing strike, twisting low, and drives his saber upward in a brutal thrust. The blade sinks deep into Tusk's chest, up under the heavy armor. Tusk shudders, a low growl rattling in his throat. Their faces meet, hunter to hunter, warrior to warrior. Then Tusk collapses, a mountain of flesh and armor crashing into the mud. Voss stumbles back, chest heaving, saber shaking in his hand. Victory, but not safety. The mist parts, and from the ruins, a shimmer of light in the rain. A cloak drops. Talon steps forward. In his hand, he holds a single object, Ajen Kalar's lightsaber. The hilts reddened and wet. Talon lifts it slightly, a silent offering, a trophy. Voss feels rage surge hot through his veins, but instinct, the old instinct, wins out. He turns, and he runs, back into the jungle, back toward the pulsing heartbeat he feels in the Force, toward the temple, toward the end. Talon watches. He does not pursue. He tilts his head, intrigued. This one is a warrior.
Their wings are broken. Their cries will not reach Coruscant. The age of light dims, unnoticed by the stars. A single cut and the herd begins to run. Strength is not proven in survival. It is proven in how long the dying can still bare their teeth. Soon, even that will fade.
Palpatine stands at the threshold of the temple, the broken crown of the structure looming behind him. Stones older than memory, carved by hands long turned to dust. The mist coils at his feet. The trees bend away from the ruin, as if unwilling to bear witness. He breathes deep. The Force here is thick, sour with the rot of forgotten gods, bitter with the memory of 1,000 deaths. It sings in his blood. It welcomes him. The spear hangs easy in his hand, the blade already baptized in Jedi blood. Above, the storm churns, dark clouds coiling together, called by power older than republics or empires. He closes his eyes for a moment, savoring it.
It is almost done. The long hunt nears its end. The final culling of the old order. The last breath of the failed creed.
He feels them drawing closer. Mace Windu storming through the jungle, rage burning through him like wildfire. Quinlan Vos, wounded, broken, yet stubbornly alive, clinging to hope like a dying ember. Two flames guttering in the wind.
The last flames flicker. Let them burn bright before they die choking on their own ash.
The predators wait nearby. Scorch crouched among the shattered columns, weapon primed. Talon perched atop a broken statue, silent as a carving. They know their place in this rite. They understand the meaning of the blood to come. Palpatine opens his eyes. The first silhouette emerges from the mist, broad-shouldered, purposeful. Mace Windu. His saber hisses to life, violet blade gleaming like a shard of amethyst in the gloom. Palpatine does not attack, not yet. He wants the Jedi to see him, to understand. He steps forward into the clearing, every moment deliberate, ritualistic. The mist parts around him like a curtain. He watches the realization dawn in Mace's eyes, not just as to who he is, but what he has become. No Chancellor, no Sith Lord hidden in silk, only the hunter, only the end. Palpatine allows himself a thin smile.
Let them come. Let them struggle. It will only make the death sweeter.
Far behind Mace, staggering through the ferns, comes Vos, bleeding, breathless, saber low in his shaking hand. Palpatine watches him too, a survivor, an afterthought. No matter. The jungle is already closing behind them. There is no escape, only the hunt. Palpatine tightens his grip on the spear, feeling its ancient weight settling into his bones. The temple hums at his back. The Force itself seems to lean in with anticipation. The air between them shivers. For a heartbeat, the jungle holds its breath again. Then Palpatine moves. The spear arcs like a silver serpent, slicing through the mist toward Mace Windu's heart. Mace parries hard, violet saber screaming against the metal haft. Vos charges from the side, saber igniting in a flare of green, but Scorch steps into his path, plasma cannon roaring. Vos twists aside, deflecting the shot with a desperate sweep, the blast vaporizing a pillar behind him. Talon drops from the broken temple spires like a falling star, blades flashing toward Mace's exposed flank. Mace pivots, barely deflecting, feeling the impact jolt down to his teeth. The fight shatters into chaos. Predator and Sith move with unnatural speed, their strikes landing with the force of hammers. Mace and Vos fight back to back, Jedi instincts intertwined, a desperate, wordless dance of survival. Vos ducks a plasma shot, rolls under Scorch's guard, and slices deep into the Predator's thigh, only for Scorch to catch him with a brutal backhand, slamming him into the temple stairs. Vos crumples, gasping, saber nearly slipping from his fingers. Talon closes the distance in a blink. Mace lunges to save him, but Palpatine intercepts, spear whirling, driving him back step by bloody step. For every attack Mace blocks, another comes faster. Palpatine is not fighting to duel, he is fighting to end. Vos struggles to his feet, saber trembling in his hand. Scorch advances on him again, cannon sparking. Vos knows he can't win, but he fights anyway. He charges, screaming, saber flashing in a desperate final arc. And Scorch fires again, point blank. Vos raises his saber, the plasma exploding outward in all directions. Vos and Scorch are consumed in a flash of heat and light. Ash drifts across the stones where they once stood. Mace roars, driving Palpatine back with a flurry of strikes, his saber a whirlwind of violet rage. But the spear is faster. Palpatine feints low, spins high, and drives the butt of his spear into Mace's temple. The world tilts. Mace stumbles. Palpatine's foot lashes out, catching him square in the chest, sending him sprawling at the base of the temple. The mist pulls back as the purple blade extinguishes and skips away. Only 3 remain. Mace Windu, broken and bleeding. Palpatine, breathing hard, triumphant. Talon, silent as ever, stepping from the mist with measured grace. Mace tries to rise, arm shaking, saber lost. Palpatine strides forward, the storm howling at his back. He reaches the temple's central altar, a device older than the Republic, and deactivates the storm generator with a hiss of ancient hydraulics. The mist fades, and above them, projected into the sky, appears the true map. A galaxy littered with burning stars. A beacon for every predator, everywhere. Every Jedi stronghold, every enclave, every hidden sanctuary. All under siege. All dying. Red markers pulse where Yautja hunter teams descend. Where Jedi are prey. Cornered. Slaughtered. Trophies claimed. Masters, knights, Padawans. None are spared. A true great hunt. Not a single blow, but a planet-spanning blood ritual decades in the making. Mace stares up, horror bleeding through his broken body. He rasps out,
Everywhere. You sent them everywhere.
Palpatine kneels beside him, lowering his voice to a purr.
The clones were useful, but these are the true architects of your extinction.
He gestures toward Talon, who stands motionless beside him, a sentinel in bone and iron.
The Jedi Order ends not with betrayal, but with the natural order restored. The strong claim the weak.
Mace's vision blurs. The stars spin. The spear comes down. The last thing he sees before darkness claims him is the galaxy burning and the hunters gathering their spoils. In the jungle clearing, Talon lifts his mask in salute. Palpatine, spear in hand, does the same as he turns away, the temple map dwindling behind him. As it fades across 1,000 worlds, the Jedi Order dies, unseen, unsung, and alone. The age of the hunters has arrived.
That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities. If you'd like to join us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.